this session. Please keep your microphones muted throughout the presentation to avoid background noise. If you have questions, kindly type them into the chat as we go along. If you will have dedicated question and answer session at the end of the presentation where I will address all questions, please feel free to take notes and engage actively. Okay. Okay. Can you all hear me clearly? Divine, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you clearly.
All right. So thank you once again for joining. So today's session is about introducing you to CISA and the effective study strategy that you can use. So about me, I am Jonas Eliklin Pano. I am a Certified Information Systems Auditor. My current role, I play as an IT auditor and I audit multiple industries. My focus is on IT audits, risks, and cybersecurity. So for today's agenda, we want to understand what is CISA, the study strategy we can use, about ISACA, the CISA domains, the study materials, exam tips, and fees for the CISA exams. So first off, we want to understand what is CISA. So the Certified Information Systems Auditor exams is a globally recognized credential focused on IT auditing, control, security, and it is issued by ISACA, which is the Information Systems Audit and Control Association. So what's the purpose of CISA? CISA validates expertise in IT auditing, compliance, and control implementation. It proves your ability to evaluate risks and apply controls in real environments. So CISA is a worldwide benchmark for IT audit professionals. Employers trust it because it reflects ISACA's global practices in governance and security. Okay. So we have 16 more people. Okay. So this me, I'm Jonas Eliklin Pano. So let's continue the presentation. So who is a CISA? So CISA professionals ensure systems are secured, well managed, and aligned with business objectives. They identify risks, evaluate controls, and strengthen organizational security. Some of the core responsibilities of a CISA include they design audit strategy, they assess IT controls, they conduct audits, provide recommendations, follow up on audit findings, and perform risks and business continuity planning. So who is ISACA? About ISACA. So ISACA, which is Information Systems Audit and Control Association. So they are the global professional body focused on IT governance, audit, risks, cybersecurity, and digital trust. ISACA develops frameworks, certifications, and resources that help organizations manage and secure their information systems effectively. So some of the certifications that ISACA provides include the CISA, which we are about to talk. This session is about. So CISA is the Certified Information Systems Auditor. Then they also have the CISM, which is the Certified Information Security Manager. They also have CRIS, which is the Certified Risk and IS Control, Certified Governance of Enterprise IT, and they have Certified Data Privacy Solutions Engineer. So now I want to talk about the CISA domains. So the exams is divided into 5 domains, each covering a key area of IT auditing and security. So in order for you to pass the exams, you need a balanced understanding across all domains. Each domain has a different way in the exams. So here you notice that domain 4 and 5 carry the highest weight, so they are very important. So domain 4 and 5, they carry the 26% each. So that shows you that when preparing for the exams, you need to focus a lot on these domains. So the higher the domain, the more questions that will appear in the exams. So let's talk about what each of the domain focuses on. So for domain 1, which is the IS auditing process, this domain focuses on independence and methodology. For domain 2, which is the IT governance, it focuses on strategy and frameworks. For domain 3, which is the IS development, it focuses on software development life cycle controls. For domain 4, IT operations and resilience, focuses on resilience and recovery. Domain 5, information asset protection. This focuses on access and data protection. So what study strategy can we use? How to prepare effectively for the CISA exams? So basically, if you want to study or prepare for the CISA exams, you need to take it in 3 phases. So the first phase is understanding the concept of the CISA. What is CISA about? You need to really understand what the whole exams is about, what the questions ask you, what is ISACA expects from you. So in order for you to understand the concept, you can do this through watching of videos or taking courses. You can take videos, which include the Udemy videos, YouTube videos. You can also read the ISACA review manual. So this will help you grasp the foundational concept of the exams. The phase 2 is practice questions. You can't do without the practice questions. You need to be able to solve practice questions on a daily basis, at least. Even if you can't take them frequently, at least on a daily basis should, or maybe within a week, you should be able to take about practice questions about 5 times in a week. You need to use multiple question banks, not just one question banks. And when taking the practice questions too, you need to really understand what the question is about and why an answer is correct. The third phase, after understanding the concept with taking practice questions, is also to go back and understand your weak areas. So you need to take full mock exams. That is like a mock test that test your understanding, test your ability to pass the exams. And when taking this mock test, you need to target around 80% before the exams. You need to target that, okay, when you take the mock test, you know that, okay, yes, you are hitting this 80% mark before the exams. So what is the preparation timeline? So just for you to know, this is not cut in stone. Some people can take more time to prepare for the exams. You can take less time. It all depends on how you practice and your experience. So for this, typical plan is a 4-month plan. You can also use a 3-month plan. So for your 7 weeks, when we are taking the 4-month plan, for the 7 weeks, you can use 7 weeks to understand the concept of CISA, the CISA domain. We can use the other week, 6 weeks, to practice questions, and you can use 3 weeks to review mock exams. If you are taking the 3 months plan, you can use 5 weeks to understand the concepts. You can use 4 weeks to understand to practice questions, and also 3 weeks to review the mock exams. So one thing you should know is that when it comes to the CISA exams, the scale is out of 800. So the minimum scale score to pass the exams is the 450. So when you are taking your mock exams, your mock test or exams, you need to be targeting a score of 80%. When you are able to get 80% in your exam, then you should know that yes, you are truly prepared for the real CISA exams. So common mistakes to avoid: relying on work experience. So when it comes to CISA tests concepts, not daily tasks. You need to understand the ISACA way of thinking. If you've taken an ISACA exam before, you know that they have their way, they have a way of questioning you, and they have a way to trick you in for you to think that, oh, an answer is correct, meanwhile it's not correct. So one mistake you can do is say that, okay, yes, you have a background in IT auditing, so you don't really have to understand the ISACA way of thinking. No, the other mistake is memorizing answers. So when you're taking the practice test, one mistake you can do is memorizing answers. No, don't do that. You need to understand the reasoning behind why an answer is correct. But the real exam uses different wording. You may see a question in your practice exams, in your practice test, but then when you go on the real day, when you're taking the exams, that same question can be put in a different wording. So if you memorize answers, you'll really be doing a big mistake. The third mistake to avoid is poor time management. When practicing or taking practicing for the CISA exams, you really need to know how to manage your time effectively. You need to build a structured, steady schedule and track progress weekly. The other mistake is inconsistent learning. Short daily sessions beat long and infrequent cramping sessions. So when it comes to preparing for the CISA exams, you need to be consistent with how you study. At least a day, you need to read something, you need to solve a question. So yes, this is always better than maybe waiting 2 weeks before you take a full day off to learn for the exams. No, this is wrong. The other mistake is skipping mock exams. You need to simulate real conditions, aim for 80% consistently before booking. So like I said earlier, mock exams is really good for you. It will help you simulate the real exam, the raw thing that you face on the exams day. You need to be able to take practice questions before you sit for the main exams. The last, or not the last, but then the last mistake that you can make is too many resources. So one mistake when it comes to CISA, because it's a global certification, there are lots of resources online, a lot of strategy online. You see a lot of people posting their strategies that, okay, yes, I took this physical course, I went to a boot camp. If you follow so many strategies, you may end up having information overload. So what you need to do is you need to research and pick one strategy that you think will work for you. Don't pick too many strategies. Just pick one strategy that, okay, yes, maybe I'm going with the video, I'm going with the review manual. This is my strategy for me to pass. So basically, you need to focus on one strategy. So study materials and tools that you can use. So recommended study resources. The ISACA review manual. This is the primary resource that you can use. I always recommend this. Yes, it can be tried, but then you should remember that the CISA exams is an expensive exams. So you need to put time into reviewing the official ISACA review manual. For the experience that I have during my time when I wrote the exams, I realized that all the questions, if not almost all the questions, if not all, the questions came from the ISACA review manual. So you really need to take your time to go through the review manual. You need to, I know I've heard feedback from others saying that the book is very dry, but then you need to also consider the time and the money that you are going to put into this. So let that be a motivation for you when it comes to studying with the review manual. The second resource that you can use is taking Udemy or YouTube courses. So when it comes to Udemy courses, I always recommend Herman Doshi's CISA course on Udemy. So this introduces you to the CISA domains, but then you should understand that you cannot only do with the Udemy or YouTube courses or any other course that you may take, being it physical course. These courses are to help you get a foundational understanding of what the CISA exams is about. So yes, for here, Udemy and YouTube courses. Some people also go into boot camps, or they apart from Udemy and YouTube courses, they book sessions with a tutor for them to take them through the CISA to teach them. Another resource that you can use is a database, so official question bank and any other database that you can find out there. I recommend that you practice those questions. There are a lot of websites that comes with databases, CISA databases that you can use. Another resource that you can use is a mobile app. So this what mobile apps does, when it comes to mobile apps, there are mobile apps out there that focuses on CISA exams. So you can search on your Play Store or App Store. You can just type CISA exams and see the applications that come out. So when it comes to these apps, there are some that are good, some may not be too good. So it's just up to you to go through them and see the ones that can help you. So one thing about these exams too, it can turn ideal time into study time. Maybe when you are in a class going somewhere, through this app, you can just answer questions on the app. You understand? Another tool that you cannot do without is the AI tool. Now AI is everywhere. What these tools like ChatGPT can help you is clarify concepts to you. When you answer questions online, you can and you don't understand the answer, you don't understand why this is the answer. You can give these questions to the AI tools for them to explain to you. So I remember what I used to do, especially when I realized that no, I don't really understand this. I give the questions to the AI tool. Okay, explain this to me as a 10-year-old. Then the AI tool will be able to break down the question and the answers to me. But then one thing you always need to be aware of is that some of these AI tools also give wrong answers. So what you can do to remediate this is to give that same questions to multiple AI tools to see whether they will come out with the same answer. If they do, then you should know that that answer is most likely the correct answer. Another resource that you cannot do without is Reddit. So what is Reddit? Reddit is a social media app out there that you can join. It's more like an anonymous social media. You can post on Reddit without people knowing who you truly are. So why Reddit? So on Reddit has this CISA community where people post about their exams experience, the strategies that they use in passing their exams. So if you know that your exams date is getting close, I would really recommend for you to download Reddit and join the CISA community on Reddit. You'll be able to read people's raw experience, the things that they face in their exams, the strategies that they use, and all. And they can also recommend resources that you can use, and basically everything. So Reddit is a very good resource when it comes to studying for your CISA exams. So now let's talk about the fees. Let's talk about money. So what's CISA? How much does it cost? The CISA, if you register as a member, the CISA costs 575 $575 US dollars. For non-members, it's $760. I think this has been structured in the way that it's better you just register as a member so that you get the discount. So what's the exams? It's computer based. You can take it at testing centers, or you can also opt to take it at your home. So scheduling. So registration is open year round. You can take it anytime that you want. You have to book within 48 hours of payment. So you can book within 48 hours of payment, not necessarily uh, for that, or 48 hours after payment. But then you should also know that fees are non-refundable. So eligibility. So after you register for the exams, you have 6 months from registration for you to sit for the exams. You can also extend the registration date. For example, if you register that okay, you want to take it next week, you can extend that. You have a maximum of 2 extensions. You can extend that to maybe any date that you feel that you'll be ready by then. So 5 years experience. What's this full 5 years experience about? So before you get the title as a CISA, you need to have 5 years experience in information systems or IT audits. Yes, 5 years experience. So one may ask, what if I don't have that 5 years experience? So ISACA has waivers that you can use in order to waive those 5 years experience. So what waivers are those? So ACCA, if you have ACCA, that can take that has 2 years waiver. CIMA also has 2 years. If you have masters in information systems or IT, that can waive 3 years of the 5 years experience. If you have a bachelor's, master's, doctorate degree in any program at all, that can also waive 2 years out of the 5 years. And if you have associate degree or diploma, that can also waive 1 year out of the 5 years. But you should know that when you are combining this, the maximum waivers you can get is 3 years. So at least you need to get 2 years of experience in the information IT audit experience or IT experience in order for you to get the title as a CISA. What if you don't meet that 5 years experience? Well, ISACA has introduced a new batch, which is the CISA Associate. So this was introduced for early career professionals, people just starting out or students. So what's the requirement? After you pass the exams, so requirements, pass CISA exams, no experience required to sit the exams. You don't need any experience before you sit for the exams. You need to be an active ISACA member. So you need to have membership, ISACA membership. This CISA associate is valid for 4 years. So what can this do for you? So this will show potential employers that, okay, yes, this guy has the knowledge. This guy has potential to thrive in this field of IT auditing or any field that you may find yourself. So this is not just for IT professionals, auditors, managers. This certificate really helps you to excel in your career. So what's the final study strategy? You need to think like an auditor. For the exams, you really need to think like an auditor, study consistently, combine videos, the review manual, question and answers, practice question and answers. Before you sit for the exams, try aiming for 80% on your practice exams. Join the Reddit community, use AI tools wisely, and just remember, CISA will open doors globally. Okay, so thank you very much. Question and answers, please. Do you have any questions?
Hi, Jonas. This is
Okay, yeah.
Michael.
Okay, Michael.
Yeah, so my question is directly to your experience with the exams. How will you
Okay.
rate it? That is first. And then secondly, what are the direct resources that you personally use to pass the exams? And if someone is also preparing, that's my third question, what will be the average duration you think someone should be able to prepare and take the exams? Because I know the more you waste time to, the I don't know how to put this one, but let's say maybe 2 months, 3 months, or 6 months, like something like that. I mean, thank you.
Okay. So in terms of the resources I use, we have basically mentioned everything. So that's I use Hemandoshi's questions, Hemandoshi's course on Udemy. I use the AI tools. I use Reddit. I use review manual. I really read the book. The ISACA the CISA review manual. Yes, so those are my resources. Your second question, how will I rate the exams? Well, that's your other question, right?
Yeah, sure. In fact, it was
Yeah,
the first question.
okay. The exams is really tough. That I won't say it's an easy exams, no. But then all the same, all depends on how you prepare for the exams. Excuse me to say, but then if you don't take it serious on the exams day, you may end up crying. On the exams day, you may end up crying. So it all depends on how you prepare for the exams. Then what's the other question?
The third one was the duration. Do you think one
Duration.
needs so the duration of preparation that you, by your experience, you think is right?
So, hmm, so it all depends on you as an individual, right? You can use 3 months, you can use 4 months, but then all depends on how you study for it. You can even use a year, right? That is if you want to be sure that you want to pass. And you should understand that you don't have to register for the exams before you start preparing. For instance, for my situation like this, when I started preparing for the exams, I didn't have the money then to register. So whilst I was preparing for the exams, I was saving towards it as well. So you should understand that. So for instance, those that don't have the money now to prepare for to take the exams, you can start preparing. The longer you prepare for the exams, the better your chances are at passing. Yeah, Prince Odoi.
Yes, good evening. And I wanted to ask, I know some international exams, it comes with some standardized salary when organizations engage you. I want to know if it also applies in the CISA domain as well. Like if you're applying for jobs, does it have some range that you should be expecting or something and those kind
Well,
of stuff?
for Ghana here, I can't say for Ghana whether there's okay. Let me say for Ghana here, there's no say that okay if you are a CISA, you need to pay this amount of money, right? But what it can do for you is that if you have a CISA, is it's more like an advantage. It's us onto your credentials that okay, this guy is a CISA, and then maybe if someone is taking you because of that CISA certification alone, instead of you starting from maybe if level one, let's say the ranks are level one, because of that CISA exams alone, you can be sent to level two instead of starting from level one. Because here's the case that truly you've taken this globally recognized exams that shows that yeah, truly you have this knowledge. So instead of starting from level one, you'll be able to start from level two.
Okay, just a follow-up. How is the demand for the
The CISA
professional?
exam.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Come again. Okay, come again.
Yes, so I mean, like, how is on the job market, how is the demand for CISA professionals?
Well, how will I put it? It's high in demand. As a CISA professional, it's high in demand. You can work as an IT auditor. You can work in information security. You can even work in IT field. So having that alone, it's really in high demand. It's I can only say it's really in high demand. That's what I can say. So, and one thing you can also do is you can go on LinkedIn and you just type CISA, just search for CISA, the word CISA, and see the number of jobs that come out with the or the posts that come when you search for CISA or other international job hunting site like Indeed. Just search, type the word CISA in there, and you see the number of jobs that come up with the CISA. So I'm seeing that, can we have the slides, please? Unfortunately, no. But then what we can do, or what we'll do, is we'll rather share the videos with you. So the recording will be posted on our YouTube platform for you to have access to it. Yeah, Chris Aqua.
Yeah, Jonas, thank you very much for this. First of all, I think I want to find out. You mentioned the use of AI tools. That you use the words
Yes.
ChatGPT. We're just wondering how would this help? Is there any maybe particular wording you need to type in or whatever?
Okay. Okay. Yes.
That's
so basically,
one. And the second one is I want to find out whether you also are gonna prepare maybe students who are preparing for the exams.
Okay. So taking from the point of the AI tool, so what the AI tool can help you with. So when it comes to ISACA questions, they are very tricky, right? Because you can get a question. What ISACA questions are well known for is always having two answers that can be correct. But mostly ISACA is looking for that one particular answer that's the right, like the most correct one out of all those other options. So what the AI tool can do for you is break down why that particular answer is the correct answer. So it will be able to break down the meaning of the question and why that particular answer is the correct answer. And then when we talk about using it wisely too, the reason why is there is because some of these AI tools, because of how tricky the answers are, they may end up giving you the wrong answer as the right one. So what you can do is combine them, combine the AI tools. Don't rely on one AI tool. Don't rely on ChatGPT alone. You can rely on other ones like Gemini, the Grok, and Copilot in order to compare the questions. And then when it comes to organizing of classes, that not yet, but then we can send an email, then we can speak further on organizing classes. I think we have something like that coming up. So if you are interested, we can speak on that further.
Thank
you. Hi, Jonas.
Hi, Herbert.
Yes, I want to find out something, right? So I'm not from an IT, I don't have IT background, right?
Okay.
And currently I'm not yet into that space as well, right? But I would like to do this program, right? But then I want to find out something. I want to do both CISA and CIRIC, right? I studied risk management. Right? It's like general risk management. So I want to find out now, which one should I do first? Which one will help me first in terms of for me to get that breakthrough into IT risk, right? So should I do CISA first or should I do CIRIC first?
Well, I think all depends on where you want to find yourself. If you want to find yourself in the auditing space, then definitely is the CISA. But like you said, you want to go into what? The risk management. The CIRIC is also very popular. it's also a very popular certification that you can look at. So if your focus, what's your focus again, Herbert?
So I want to do IT risk. That's my end goal. Like I said, currently I did study risk management, right? So, but I haven't been into that space yet, right? So
Okay.
but my end goal is to do IT risk management.
Well, if that's your goal, then I'll advise you to go for the CRIX. But then don't take my word for it. You can research more on that, on into that. But to me, from where I sit and what you are saying, then the CRIX is the one that you can go for. But then again, try researching more on that, the advantages in that, because the CISA is more towards the compliance. It's also compliant auditing aspect. So if you really want to go into risk management, then can take the series.
Okay, but also like I said, I'm still open-minded in terms of that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So you
For me to get guidance. Yeah.
You can research more on that, because I personally have not taken the series exam, so I can't really give a fair overview between the two, right? So maybe you should probably research more into the series exams. Yeah. Taking one question from the chat. How many hours is allocated? So sorry, you have 4 hours. 4 hours. 4 hours for the exams, and it's multiple questions, 150 multiple choice questions. Hi, yeah, Eunice.
Yes, please, I have a quick question. So I did a little bit research and found out for this particular certification, you would have to be working in the IT audit space for a number of years.
Mm,
And I don't currently work in any IT space or any IT audit space or anything. Can I still take it without
well,
having the experience?
yes, so you can still take it. So it's 5 years experience, and then
Mm-hmm.
it has waivers for you to waive that experience of. So if you have a master's degree in or bachelor's degree in any program at all, it will waive that 2 years experience of. If you have any of these other degrees, the CIMA certifications, it can waive. So you have a maximum of 3 waivers. I don't know whether you have any of these. Do you have any of these?
Yes, I have a bachelor's degree. So I think it
Okay,
would waive 2 years off.
2 years, yes, two
Yeah, so
years.
then what does it mean? Like
So that
the
five
three
years.
years. Mm-hmm.
So now the 3 years. So now, depending on your background, then you'll be able to waive then you're able to meet the requirement. But then if you don't have the 3 years to, I think ISACA has also introduced the CISA associate. So now what's your background?
My background is accounting, like
Oh,
bachelor's degree. Yes.
yeah.
But I
So
haven't charted. I don't have ACCA and I've not done SIMA too.
okay.
So
I think so far as you have um, experience in the accounting, it should be. I'm not so sure about it. Maybe we can talk about that. Maybe after they just send me an email, then I can respond properly on whether you'll be able to waive that or you're able to meet the 5 years requirements.
okay. Please share your email address in the chat.
Sure.
Thank you.
So any other? Okay. Um, okay, no other questions. Yeah. Okay. Then if you don't have any other questions, Ines, do you still have a question?
Oh no, it's fine.
All right. Okay, thank you everyone for joining today's session. We will send a survey out for you to rate this session for us. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Cheers, guys. Bye.